We're going to do some problems on multi-step linear inequalities. So we're figuring out what's the solution for x. X is not going to be a certain number, it's going to be a range of numbers because we have a less than or equal, less than or greater than here. It's not an equal sign. Okay, so these are a little bit more tricky than just a regular algebra problem. And oops. Okay, so let's rewrite the equation so it's a little bit bigger. Oops. Okay, so it's 4x plus 6 less than or equal to 8x plus 2. And remember, what you need to be careful with in algebra is the secret to algebra is that you do the same thing to both sides of any equation or inequality, and by doing the same thing to both sides, you're not changing the inequality or the equality. Okay, so the only exception is when you have an inequality. If you do something with a negative multiplication or division, you might be changing the direction of the inequality, but we'll look at that later. Okay, so the first thing, when we look at this one, we want to just get x's by itself. First thing we need to do is get rid of these added numbers here. Okay, and we need to group the x terms here. Okay, so we could do either one first. Let's put the x's on one side of here, and since this side there's more x's than the other, we could just put the x's on this side. Doesn't really matter, but keeps everything positive if we do it this way. So we're going to subtract 4x from this side. We're going to subtract 4x from this side. And by doing that, we're going to get rid of the 4x here, okay, which was our main objective. This side, we're going to have 4x left over, okay? So now we've successfully gotten rid of this term, so it's a little bit simpler. Okay, now we want to get x all by itself on one side, and it looks like it's easiest to do that over here. So let's get rid of the 2 on this side. So we'll subtract 2, and we'll subtract 2. And then so what's left over here is a 4, and what's left over here is nothing, 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, so now what's left here? Well, there's the inequality sign. There is, I'm sorry, I drew that a little bit too. Okay, so we got the inequality sign left over. Okay, so we got 4 is less than or equal to 4x. Okay, so now we want to get x by itself. The easiest way to do that is to divide by 4 on both sides. If we divide by 4 on both sides, then the inequality is still true. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, less than or equal to, and then 4 divided by 4 is 1 also. So what's left is just x. Okay, so x is greater than or equal to 1. So x is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, we reversed it because like we have 1 is less than or equal to x, but what they want is they want the x on the left side. If you put the x on the left side, obviously you're going to have the alligator eating the x and not the 1, so that's why we switched it over. Okay, alright, now let's move to the next one. 7x minus 8 is less than or equal to 5x plus 2. Okay, since they want to end up with the x on the left side, how about if we use that to decide how our strategy is going to be too. Okay, so we're going to have 7x on this side, 5x on this side. So how do we just get x's on this side? Well, let's let's get rid of this 5x. The way we get rid of 5x on this side is we subtract 5x from this side, and of course we would also have to subtract 5x from this side. So what's left over here is 2x, what's left over here is 0. That's great because that's what we wanted. We wanted to get rid of this. Okay. Now now we want to get rid of the minus 8 from this side because we want x all by itself here. So we do that by adding 8, right? If we add 8 to this side, we'll get rid of the negative 8. If we add 8 to this side, and we got to do both, we have to add 8 to both sides, right? We end up with 10 here. So what do we got left? We got 2x and we got 10. So we'll put 2x less than or equal to 10. And now we want to get x all by itself. So to get x all by itself, we got 2 times x. To get rid of that 2, we divide by 2. Divide by 2 on both sides, right? And then on this side, we're left with just x less than or equal to. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we have x is less than or equal to 5. So let's put that in. X is less than or equal to 5. Okay. Next one, we got 5x minus 3 greater than 3x plus 10. Okay, since they want the answer with the form of x on the left side, how about if we maintain that? And so we want to get rid of x from this side, from the right side, because we want to just keep x on the left side. So the first thing we're going to do is subtract 3x from the right side. We're also going to subtract 3x from the left side. Okay, and what we're left with on this side is 0, which is, we want to get rid of x, so perfect. What we're left with this side, 5x minus 3x, is 2x. So we're going to cross that out because we got rid of it. Okay. Now what about the minus 3 and the 10? Well, we want to throw everything to the right side because we got the x on the left side. We want everything else on the right side. So we're going to get rid of this negative 3 by adding a 3 to both sides. Okay. So this will turn into 0. This will turn into 10 plus 3, which is 13. And then what's left is we got a 2x and we got a 13. 2x is greater than 13. Okay? And so what's x equal to? Well, to get rid of this 2, we divide by 2 on this side, we divide by 2 on this side, and we get x is greater than 13 halves, which is the same thing as 6.5. So we got x is greater than 6.5. Okay. Next one. Now we have 9x plus 8 is less than 6x plus 4. First thing we want to do is get the x to the left side, so we subtract from the right side minus 6x to get rid of the x's. And from this side, of course, we also have to subtract 6x. And so we're left with 3x on the left side, 0 on the right side. That's what we wanted. We wanted to get rid of x's on the right side. Now let's put all the other numbers on the right side. So we want to get rid of the 8 here. So we subtract 8 here, and we subtract 8 here. And so 8 minus 8 is 0. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Okay? So what are we left here? We're left with 3x, and we're left with negative 4. So we'll put that 3x is less than negative 4. So the result is x is, we're going to divide by 3 from this side, divide by 3 this side. X is less than negative 4/3. Okay? We'll just leave that as a fraction because 1/3 or 4/3 is really messy as a decimal, right? It's a repeating decimal. It's like 0.3333. So we'll just put, Khan Academy accepts fractions as answers, so we'll just put negative 4/3. Say, check answer. Okay. Now, got another one here. We got 2x minus 9 greater than or equal to 9x plus 8. Okay, we want to get all the x's to the left side because the answer here has x on the left side. So we're going to get rid of the x's on this side, so we'll subtract out 9x so that we'll get a 0. Here we also subtract 9x, and 2 minus 9 is negative 7, so we end up with negative 7x. Okay. And we want to get all the other numbers to the right side, so negative 9 we're going to get rid of by adding 9. And the 8 we're also going to add 9 because we need to do the same thing on both sides. Okay. So what are we left with? We're left with negative 7x and 17. So we'll put negative 7x greater than or equal to 17. Now here we're going to have a tricky one, because to get rid of the negative 7, we're going to have to divide by negative 7, right? So we're going to divide both sides by negative 7. Well, when you do this, something's going to happen to the inequality, because when you multiply both sides by a negative number, or when you divide both sides by a negative number, the inequality is going to be the opposite of before, because when you multiply by a negative number, if one number was to the right on the number line, a bigger number multiplied by a negative number, it's going to be less than, because it's going to still be bigger, but it's going to be negative. And when something is big and negative, it ends up being smaller than whatever the other number is. So, so like I'm just going to show you an example here. So you got say you got 100. Hello, pen. Okay. So you got 100, and then it's greater than 1, of course. Okay. We're going to multiply both sides by negative 1, which you know, that's legal, right? You do something to both sides. So you're going to get negative 100 on the left side, and you're going to have negative 1 on the right side. Now, is negative 100 greater than negative 1? Well, not anymore, because you made both negative. So this sign is going to be the exact opposite. If you multiply negative on both sides, then whatever your inequality relationship was is going to be the opposite. Okay? So that's what's going to happen here. We divided both sides by negative 7, so that means this inequality is going to have to reverse, and now it's going to be less than or equal to. And so the left side is going to be x, and the right side is going to be negative 17 divided by 7. And I'm not going to divide that out because it's going to be messy. So we're going to put less than or equal to, and we'll just put the answer as negative 17 divided by 7. Okay. And go to the next one here. So now we got, oops, we got 5x minus 8 less than 8x plus 7. We want to put all the x's on the left side, so we're going to subtract negative 8x here. We're going to subtract negative 8x here, and of course we have to subtract the same thing with both sides, right? We talked about that. The result here is negative 3x. The result here is 0. Now we want to get all the other numbers to the right side, so we're going to add 8 here to cancel out the minus 8. Add 8 here to add to the 7, and so we get a 15 here. We get negative 8 plus 8 is 0. Okay, so these terms are completely zeroed out. We ignore those. What are we left with? Negative 3x and 15. So we'll put negative 3x is less than 15. And now to get rid of the negative 3, we're just going to divide both sides by negative 3. When we do that, we're dividing by a negative number. Remember what I said last problem, you have to like reverse this now because we divided by a negative number on both sides. So that's going to reverse the inequality. And so now on the left side we're going to have x, and the right side we're going to have 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and it's going to be a negative 5 because it's a negative there. So now we have x is greater than negative 5. X is greater than negative 5. Okay? Alright. 2x minus 2 is less than or equal to 8x plus 5.